This is Entertainment Roundup for Tuesday, April the 23rd, 2013. I'm J77. I got a couple of stories I want to talk about. Let's get right straight to it. I might as well talk about something in the New York circuit. That's be the first story. Then head down to the least story, or least in my opinion, something that I think that was blown way out of proportion. But I'll get to that at the end of this segment. But first, let's talk about Jay-Z. If guys you don't know, Jay-Z has been reported that he will be selling his stake at the pro basketball team, the Brooklyn Nets. This comes pretty much of a little bit of a shock by some, not so much by others. I've spoken to a lot of people about this, and they said that it's pretty much a conflict of interest thing. I'm going to read a little bit what it says on the CNN website, and I'll leave you guys to comment on your own to give your own opinion or perspective on what it is. But it has been confirmed by Jay-Z himself that he will no longer be the have part ownership or minority ownership of the basketball team. It says here in the CNN that after helping the Brooklyn Nets to relocate from New Jersey to his hometown borough this season, Jay-Z announced Friday that he will be selling his stakes in the pro basketball team. Earlier this month, the rapper and the entrepreneur launched a Rock Nation Sports, a joint venture sports management agency with Creative Arts Agency. So there you have it. This is pretty much the confident inference that pretty much will be bumping heads. The National Basketball Association rules that agents can't both represent professional athletics and have a stake in a team. For Jay-Z to move forward as an agent, he has to pretty much relinquish control of the sports franchise. Jay-Z, whose real name is Sean Carter, explained his departure in a following statement. This is the statement that he has said. Being a member of the Nets organization surpassed some of my greatest ambition. It was never about an investment. It was about the Nets and Brooklyn. My job as an owner is over, but as a fan, I just begun. I am a Brooklyn Nets forever. It's been an honor to work with Palkovich and the others who was involved in sports and entertainment, Bretton, and all the wonderful people involved in making the Nets first class. And that's pretty much the gist of it. The Nets have made their mark on the NBA, and as they enter the new era, Rock Nation does as well. As they embark on Rock Nation Sports, our newest innovator is committed to building the brand of professional athletics as we have done in some of today's top music artists. So there you have it. He's doing a new venture. The rules clearly state he can't do both, and as part of the sacrifice he had to do, he had to sell off his part of the team. I wish him luck on that new venture. I really do. I wish him the best of luck. I hope everything goes well from him. Again, when I heard the news, this caught me a little bit by surprise, but after I heard some of the reasoning behind it and what the NBA's rules against owning other stuff that is sports related, I can understand why. Keep in mind, the NBA also have contract with other sports venues that may not be of Jay-Z, and that could really bring a little bit, can ruffle the feathers people who they're committed to, especially when they're selling, jerseys and other memorabilia. Keep in mind they also have the NBA Sports Store, so that could be a big problem. So, yeah, this is something that that had to be done. Do I agree with it? Well, I don't, but this is business, and anything that interferes with business, you got that situation happening. In all, JC have represented the team well. He has become a very good spokesperson for the team, and yes, he was responsible for bringing the New Jersey Nets to Brooklyn, and they had a very good, successful first year. So no one can say that JC have not done his part as a minor owner of the team. He has done a tremendous job, and my hat goes off to him. A lot of people did criticize him in some minor issues, but there are very few and far between for what he has really done. And look, he has become a good businessman. No one can deny it. He has evolved into something more than just a rapper. So you have to give credit where credit is due. I'm, for one, not a big fan of Jay-Z, but I will give him his respect. I will give him his props. He has earned that, and he has earned to be among the top ranks of entrepreneur and entertainment in his field. So wish him luck, and I wish them and us well as New Jersey. I'm sorry, New Jersey, Brooklyn. Still got to get that out of my head. Brooklyn. A nice, honorable move forward. Both of them leave in good terms, and I hope it stays in good times for years to come. Now on to some other news, and that is involving Reese Witherspoon. Man, talking about an embarrassing moment. I've seen a couple articles involving what has happened between her husband, and the police. As you all know, her husband, also manager, I believe, has been arrested for DUI charges, as well as Reese Witherspoon. The report came out just a few days ago, as well as some not so comfortable photos. You have Reese Witherspoon pretty much looking down at the mugshot, which I can't blame. Reese Witherspoon, who keeps herself out of the spotlight as much as she possibly can, who tries to keep a very respectful image, was pretty much embarrassed by what has happened. She even apologized for what has happened. She was embarrassed that she got arrested. In fact, in this article that I'm about to read here, it pretty much clear how she really felt embarrassed about what has happened here. In the article, I'm going to read it right now. It says, Reese Witherspoon is apologizing for her behavior towards the police officer who arrested her on disorderly conduct charges after she allegedly failed to obey his instructions as he conducted a field sobriety test on her husband following a traffic stop. The Walker Line actress was the passenger in a silver 1913 Ford Forest being driven by her husband James Torts. I'm saying his name right. When an Atlanta police officer pulled the car over around midnight on Friday after noticing the car wasn't staying in its lane, according to police reports. The 42-year-old Todd allegedly appeared disheveled and smelled of alcohol, according to police reports. He said that he had one drink and agreed to perform a field sobriety test. During that test, however, Witherspoon allegedly became irate and stated that and started to get out of the car twice, receiving warnings both times. The report says. She also allegedly questioned whether the officer was a real police officer and asked him if he knew who she was. Big mistake. Big mistake. You don't do that to a cop, because I guarantee you that may actually fly someone in Hollywood. It's not going to fly in the South. It's just not going to go there. Witherspoon, 37, addressed the situation in a statement her representative sent to ABC News late Sunday night. Out of respect for the ongoing legal situation, I cannot comment on everything that has been reported right now, but I do want to say that I clearly had one drink too many, and I am deeply embarrassed about the things I've said, she said. Also, as the article ends by saying, according to the police report, troopers first class Jay Palan wrote, Ms. Witherspoon began to hang out the window and said that she did not believe that I was a real police officer. I told Ms. Witherspoon to sit her butt and be quiet, sit her butt down and be quiet, which eventually she didn't. Taunt was arrested and charged with driving under the influence, DUI, and failure to maintain the lane. At the point, the report said that Witherspoon got out of the car and asked the trooper what was going on. After being told to return to the car, she stated that she was a U.S. citizen and that she was allowed to stand in American ground. Yeah, this was not one of her better days. Okay, she later said, "Do you know my name?" And "You're about to find out who I am." According to reports, the statement Witherspoon explained that the situation was scary and she was frightened for her husband's. She added, "But that is no excuse. I was disrespectful to the officer who was just doing his job. I had nothing but respect for the police, and I was very sorry for my behavior. Her alleged behavior landed her on a disorderly conduct charges, which I have already mentioned earlier, and the couple was released later on Friday. Witherspoon was on the red carpet for the premiere of her latest film, Mud. On Sunday, she posed for the cameras on the red carpet, but did not stop to talk to reporters. And that's pretty much the gist of it, guys. Yeah, this is the one thing that I gotta say right now. When people get drunk like that, that is a dangerous sign. That is a very, very dangerous sign what she did. Luckily, she only got a disorderly conduct charge. But am I going to go trashing Witherspoon for this? Look, she came out right away and basically admitted her wrong. Okay, that's one. Let's keep that in mind. She was embarrassed by it. She was very apologetic about it, and she's not making any excuses. And sure, this is not Lindsay Lohan, which what excuse does she always have besides being, doesn't really have any kind of respect for law whatsoever. This is not one of them. I'm not buying that this is an ongoing thing with her. In fact, this is the very first time she actually been in the news for something like this. So let's keep that in mind as well. This is not something that has been an ongoing thing. In fact, Reese Witherspoon is one of those actresses that don't even like to live in Hollywood, don't even like to be in the spotlight too much unless it's some kind of promotion or some kind of interview. But she really don't want her public life or life period to be put on the camera 24 hours a day. It's one of the reasons why she has not lived in Hollywood for some time. She's one of the actresses that stayed away from Hollywood because she knows the mayhem and the craziness that goes in living in Tinseltown. With this being said, yeah, it's very disappointing to hear this. It's very sad that she has gotten herself into that situation for both her and her husband. Both of them clearly had way too many. But like I said, I don't think there's going to be any major charges. Then again, this is Atlanta, so we don't know how they will address the situation. But the important thing is that she's making no excuses either, and that's always a good sign. When someone said, yeah, I messed up, that was not the police fault, it is my fault, and I'm taking responsibility. And that says a lot about Witherspoon's character. You don't hear that too many with other actors or actresses in the business. You really don't. When they get in trouble, they always try to make other excuses. It's always the other person, never never on them, always someone else. At least she's acknowledging that she was wrong. She messed up. She was disrespectful. As a result, she is sorry for what she had done, what she put her family through, what she put her husband through, what her husband put her through, as well as the disrespectfulness that she did on the officer. So, to me, hopefully she can work things out. Hopefully this will not linger on throughout her career or just pretty much in her personal life, and she can just get back on track. Again, I don't think that they're gonna give a too harsh a sentence. Probably community services, which I think that's pretty much fair. But other than that, I really have nothing else to say except wow. Wow. Alright, on to this. I have to address this, and I was actually debating on whether or not to talk about this as a What's News. My first What's News in a long time. I was very much debating on whether or not to talk about that as a What's News story, because it's kind of a strange story, kind of a sad story in many ways, but it has to do with an anchor who on his first day got fired on the very first day, and that's because of what has happened. It's one of those things that I only see on TV. In fact, I have seen this on TV. I believe News Radio had it as a pilot episode where Dave, who was the character, was testing the microphone. He was saying all sorts of gibberish, not realizing he was live. Bill Corman turned on the on-air button, and next thing you know, he was just saying all sorts of things, and needless to say, he didn't realize he was on the air, and that's when things really went downhill from there. Luckily, that was a TV show. Luckily, he was actually the new person in charge, and he didn't lose his job, even though the guy tried to fire him. You only realized it was he who was supposed to fire him. Not so much in this story. This story pretty much went down pretty much the opposite. The anchor, which goes by J.T. Clement, was making his debut out as a weekend anchor for KFYR, and I believe in North Dakota. Just before his co-anchor made his big introduction, he, abruptly unaware that he was live, he let a series of bad words fly, apparently because he was not succeeding in pronouncing his name, uh, of the London Marathon winner, which pretty much, yeah, it was bad. It was very, very bad. Well, pretty much the NBC affiliates said that they entered a statement that Clement was suspended following the Sunday's evening broadcasting, and he was then later let go after that. They basically fired him from that. So one day and was gone. Is unfortunate that happened. They let him go, but according to this report, he said he still thanked them for the opportunity and for everybody for support. He's also comment saying that it was a rookie mistake. I'm a free agent, but I can't help but laugh at myself and staying positive. I didn't trip over. I didn't trip over my feet freaking shoes out of the gate. This led us to ask what was the best in the bad or a good way first day story, which that's what the new article have. I really, that got me thinking about that a little bit. What was my bad first day, or what was my bad day period that pretty much led to a whole day just spiraling? I guess my bad day was not making any money on commission. That was pretty much my bad day, and that just led to a whole lot of other days. I'm not gonna get into details, but here to say it was not. I was not a pleasant guy to be with around. With him, I just think he was nervous. He didn't pronounce his name, and that led to him basically cursing out a storm. I will ask one question though. Did anyone, and this is why I always kind of find this very strange, that he just so happens to be live when this happened. Did anyone tell him that he was going on live before they allowed him to actually pre-rehearse? I would think that someone would say, we're going live on 3, we're going live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, we're going live at 6 minutes, just to give him a heads up that we're about to go on live in front of millions of people. Apparently somebody didn't, and it makes me the question of what was the people behind the scenes doing, and why they did not prep him for this more properly. We may never know, but that was the report that they didn't really say the gist of it. But again, he said he was unaware. Bad words came out, embarrassed the radio station. Radio station let him go. Again, I believe, and by the way, I'm leaving all links to all articles. You guys can come up with your guys can actually comment on this if you want. But I find that very interesting, very strange indeed, that happened the way it is. But in any case, he is taking his drive. I still say that's kind of messed up in his first day, but like I said, NBC do have a reputation to keep. They can't have broadcasters curse down a storm. But I'm also kind of curious on why no one in that studio did not give them the heads up that he was live. Just curious. All right, one last story of the entertainment roundup, and this one is not a new one. I did not put this at my number 1, number 2, number 3 because I don't consider it that much of importance. But for some reason, this story just don't want to go away, and that is the Justin Bieber Anne Frank scandal, if you want to call it scandal. I'm not going to read the article. I'm just going to give you the brief thing. Justin Bieber made a comment. And the comment was pretty much a little insensitive. He says that if Anne Frank had not died a teenager in a Nazi concentration camp in 1945, Justin Bieber hoped that she would have been a devoted fan. Now, this sprung up a lot of people's antennas up. And needless to say, I don't consider this a big deal. I just think he's trying to be a little funny. I think it's in great taste? No, no, not at all. But I don't consider it something as, oh my God, he's an insult. He's insulting Anne Frank. I don't think he meant it as that. I don't really think he meant it in that way. But I do think he was insensitive and not being aware of the actual history of Anne Frank, what her family went through, what she went through, especially during our last few days. I think that I think if he had known more about the history of Anne Frank, I think he would have been more reluctant to make that comment, especially when people know exactly what went down in those Nazi concentration camps. It was a disgusting, horrible part of our history, and this doesn't really. This brings back bad vibes, bad memories. But again, I don't think he meant it as a slap in the face to us. I really don't. A lot of people do. In fact, this made the front page of the Daily News last week, which surprised me a little bit. It really made front news. A lot of online people was talking about it, how you don't do that. Look, I just think he's trying to be funny, he's trying to be cute. It was just wrong, but am I going to go up there and have pig force and go after him? No, I'm not. If anything, I'm still very angry, very disappointed, and very upset that Disney had made an animated version of Anne Frank, and it is nothing to what the actual events that happened, what that girl, that brave young girl had put down in her own diary. They tried to romanticize it, trying to dumb it down, just for a cash grab, and that's something I just simply want to stop. In fact, I have put it on my I will never review, never own list, because I simply refuse to watch something like that. That and the three Titanic animated films. I'm not searching for it, I'm not looking for it, I'm not going to even acknowledge it exists. But this, I just think he's trying to be. He was trying to be funny. He was trying to be, he was trying to, be. He was trying to, assuming that she was going to be a fan. It wasn't meant. I don't think he was meant to insult her. I don't really think he was meant to insult the memory of Anne Frank. Not in a way a lot of people think he was doing. Should he have kept that out? Yeah, I do, but not to the point where I think he was. It's one of those things I think people was really blowing out of proportion. I really do. Now, according to some reports, he did apologize, and pretty much said he didn't mean any disrespect by it. But I think a lot of people who definitely hate Justin Bieber, and there's a lot of them out there. I think there's more hatred for this guy than what he actually deserves. Granted, he has been doing things in the last few years that doesn't make any of his haters hate him any less. As a matter of fact, he has doing a lot of things to make even his fans roll his eyes. In fact, a lot of fans have actually turned off by some of the stuff he's done, and many people feel that he's doing it for attention, which I can see him doing. But in terms of the Anne Frank situation, I don't think he was being disrespectful. I don't think he meant to be disrespectful. I think he was meant to be cute. I think he was meant to be as a compliment, and it just turned out wrong. Bad move from him, yes, but I don't think it was enough to make my front page of my paper. This made the front page. This was front page news. Really? This is front page news? It must have been a real slow day in my city. It really is, but come on, guys. This is Justin Bieber being, trying to be cute. It doesn't deserve front page. It definitely doesn't deserve him to have a lynch mob all over him. But that's just my opinion, guys. You guys may have a different opinion on it. I'd like to hear your opinion on it. I'd like to hear the opinion of all the stories I've talked to you about. Until then, this is J77 saying take care, be safe. I'll leave all the links to what I have mentioned here on the bottom. And again, do apologize for a little bit of music, but I'm in a different location at the time. This will have to do for the time being. But for now, this is J77 saying take care, be safe. I'll talk to you soon.